On today's Minute of the Apes, I don't need it verbally, I need it in writing.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Exercise would an ape make a human down. Then talks. With a divine bound.
We are determined to know what the apes want, war or peace.
They are the good humans, and the dead humans!
And if it is man's destiny one day to be dominated, then, oh, please, God, let him be dominated by such as you.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. And Richard doesn't just deliver his tease, he gets in the lens while he's doing it, and he's acting it. Richard, the thespian.
Ta-da!
That was Richard. Hey, guy with the gray beard, who are you?
I'm Sean.
Hey, we're all doing a little gray. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can tell.
God, I was looking at myself last night, and I trimmed down my whiskers, and I was like, man, why is this area so much? And I was like, oh, this is so much darker because the rest of it's so gray. And it literally looks like I'm a kid that didn't know how to shave, and I've got one little patch where it's dark and the rest is not there.
So I don't know if you guys can kind of tell because I have a ginger colored beard. Because of the gray coming in on the sides, when I look in the mirror and I see this little bit of kind of red here and here, I feel like I've got ketchup on my face.
That's much the same feeling I get, Richard. I look in the mirror and I'm like, why is this little place to the left along my mustache and whatnot?
Did I sweep my face in the fireplace and get some ash on it? Like, what happened there? Like, why is this weird color on my face?
Ash in the fireplace is a term for getting older, I think, now.
Ash in the fireplace.
Ash in the fireplace. Anyway, we are at minute 47. Sean, tell us what's going on here.
All right, we're going to start minute 47 with that fat finger saying,
Chubby Finger.
Chubby Finger.
Chubby Finger, there we go. I couldn't remember his name. Sorry, it's been a day. We start minute 47 with Chubby Finger saying, comprised of 3 orangutans and 1 chimpanzee, and ends with the governor, excuse me, it's easy for you to say, ends with the governor saying, you were promising that they shall.
All right, let's take a listen to minute 47 of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Comprise 3 orangutans and 1 chimpanzee.
So?
There are no chimpanzees in Borneo.
Yes, sir. One moment, please. State Security Chief Inspector Cobb on line 3.
Yes, Inspector.
No, ma'am, we are not.
Give me the Indonesia file for last month.
Yes, ma'am. I've noted he can arrange
That's
flowers.
507X, Borneo. Right, Inspector, let me check. 507X, Borneo. Yes, sir, that chimpanzee was sold to Governor Breck.
Good God, just as I first thought. We've had him under our noses all the time.
Just one thing, sir. I'm willing to have the ape executed immediately on your verbal orders alone.
You'll have it in writing, Cobb.
Thank you, sir.
Get me Mr. McDonald at the command post.
However, suppose he can speak, but won't.
I don't understand.
What the Chief Inspector means, sir, is that there'd still be a doubt. If the chimpanzee keeps his mouth shut, the case stays open. We'd like to close the file.
You shall.
As of minute 47, we've got a courtyard with the gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, imported apes, Caesar, and a planet's worth of humans, minus that one Armando still. I don't think he's coming back, Todd.
Why is the term imported apes almost sounds like, I guess because it's so close to imported grapes, which makes me think of wine and
wine.
There were fine imported apes.
But here's my deal. So they mentioned that there are 3 orangutans and 1 chimpanzee, but there are no chimpanzees in Borneo. But wouldn't the manifest say there are 3 orangutans, and why would it have a chimpanzee on there? So do they do a manifest that comes in with what they're shipping, and then when they get there, they make a new one that says, oh, wait, we've magically got a new chimpanzee, instead of checking the manifest and saying, wait, this is wrong, and having everything figured out right then?
So yeah, there's 2 points, right? The point at which it left without a chimpanzee, and the point at which it had a chimpanzee. So I guess it just got checked off at some point, and they're like,
somebody just went, oh, wait, the form says there's 3 orangutans, but there's 3 orangutans and a chimpanzee. Good enough.
Well, I mean, somebody had to like put it in the computer because the computer coughed it up later on.
Yeah.
The cough executable. What I thought of last night when I rewatched these minutes, I mean, in my notes a while back when we were recording, I rewatched these. I'm also reading the fantastic book, The Jaws Logs. If you've never read it, it is about the making of Jaws, and Carl Gottlieb, who wrote it, is in it, wrote this book. And the reason I thought of that is because there is a point where he talks about the shark, and he almost gets indignant with his reader when he says, you know, movies are not meant to be broken apart. If you go in and you say a shark wouldn't really do that, or they don't look like this, you're ruining the spirit of a movie. And he said, oftentimes when we make movies, we know things aren't the way they should happen, but it happens because it works. And that's what I thought of this scene. This scene makes zero sense when you are breaking down manifests and how he gets in and out of cages and whatnot. This was just a convenient way to go, how do we get Caesar here to here? Could we agree on that? This is just completely made up bullshit to get him where he needs to be.
They're agreed, but there was a lot of unnecessary discovery. It feels a little bit bloated in order to make that connection happen. Like, it felt like they could have tightened this up a little bit more in terms of how it unfolds. It doesn't take much. I mean, Colt could have come to this conclusion on his own without calling Ape management. You know, there could have been this, you know what I mean? Like it's unnecessary, discoverable action stuff that doesn't really need to be in there. It could be just
in today's parlance, it'd probably be somebody sitting at a computer with a manifest in front of them, but then also video footage of the apes being loaded on, and he zooms in and he sees 3 orangutans, and then he cuts to fast forward the footage, and he's watching the crate. Then he sees maybe an ape crawl, get into it somehow, a little bit blurry, and then he zooms in on that.
I like that. I like that much better.
Wait, there's a chimpanzee in there, and it wasn't there earlier. And then he goes and discovers that. But instead, it's just hey, wait, is there a chimpanzee in there or not?
Well,
we had to. Go ahead.
Oh no, all of that is, you're right. I wish the movie shot like that, but we all know the reason it wasn't. No money.
Oh yeah.
It is simply, how do we do this as economically as we possibly can so we can somehow put a Band-Aid on this part of the story.
We need to show more of the cordless phones.
I was about to say, speaking of saving as much money as they can, they got rid of every cord for every handset for a phone.
So
you know what? They probably resold those because phones are expensive right now. So
I was going to ask, when they rented them from Ma Bell, did they save some money because of no cords?
No cords, please. Thank you. Just the handsets.
Or they just resold them to every house that had a teenager that stretched out their cord walking from hallway to kitchen.
There you go, yeah.
So they were just making some money on the side.
As I watched that shot when it goes from our Chubby Finger calling him to the guy with an amazing fro on the phone, I never mind camera movement as long as it has a motivation. This one is so odd because it stays with him. He is the focus of us. And it stays until very late in it, at which point the camera begins to truck to the left. And so he's now gone through 3 or 4 gesticulations calling back to somebody, and it's only when the guy walks to him that's the motivation. J. Lee Thompson was a great director. He's no longer with us. I mean, this is the guy that made Cape Fear. This is the guy that made Guns of Navarone. He knew how to direct. It's just in that pressure cooker of, hey, kick this stuff out. It's almost like they're not thinking about who's the point of the scene and who has the primary information. If anything, why does it truck to the left? Why doesn't it track back to the right? So when that guy comes in, I grab him. It's a very, very weird moment.
Well, we're back in the control center, right? And so when we do this kind of shift to the gentleman from center going on the phone to him being on the left with this beautiful fro, we now look out in the same area that Caesar was taken to, where they did the experimentation to. But nothing is happening there. I feel like more of the tension is still the intake center behind him.
Agreed.
And it would have been nice to either stay with him on the center, or you're like you meant, what is it called? Truck left, in order to see more of intake happening, because that's what Breck wants. Breck wants this kind of movement of people being taken in and captured. And so if you could intensify that moment with more apes being brought in an aggressive manner, that would bring that up a lot more.
Yeah, it's the final shot is actually the shot that tells us what is happening. when we truck to see him, and we see out the window and we see the apes moving through. And that's the reason I was like, if it trucked opposite of what they do, then when that guy comes into it, then we see the tension within the room. And it's the funny thing is, then after this, the shot that it cuts to of the governor, it's like, oh, here's the guy that created Cape Fear, this wonderful moving shot, power shot. I hate Hollywood when they take good directors and go, hey, you got to hurry up. We know what we're doing. You don't. Come on.
Good, fast, or cheap. What do you want?
Yeah.
We played the clips so everybody got to kind of hear it, right? So Culp was basically saying, hey, give me the control center. Control center kind of confirms what they were talking about. Has anybody actually looked up to see if there's actually any chimpanzees in Borneo? I mean, do we know if that's a real fact?
I did look it up, and there are no chimpanzees in Borneo. Only
Dane did some research with his encyclopedias. He couldn't Google that shit. He had to ooh, let's go to the library and look that up.
That was in my notes.
What was research when you wrote a script back then? What was research like? Because did you have an assistant that you said, go find this in an encyclopedia? Because nowadays, the writer themselves probably goes bam, 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 and looks it up.
Right.
What was that back
then? You
just
went to your wall of encyclopedias that everybody used to have, and you went to Borneo, or you went to orangutan, or you went to chimpanzee just to see which one you were going to use for information.
So there was a really, really fascinating kind of like a conversation on the radio the other day about encyclopedias, and the DJs were talking about the fact that these don't really exist. There's no real reason to make them anymore because Google has become the encyclopedia.
True.
But I specifically remember having encyclopedias in my house that I would use for my book reports, right?
Yep.
And I had to go, I did this. My mom would go to Safeway, and every week they would have a new volume to buy of the encyclopedia to get all 27 volumes or however many volumes.
Yeah.
I remember at some point I think she could use green stamps to save up to get volumes of the books if she wanted. And that was to have a library, a small little encyclopedia library at the house that would then be outdated the next year when they updated them.
When new
locations and new maps, new things like that. But this idea to make them affordable for the consumer is they would sell them one at a time and make it a thing. Come get volume 22.
I want to say we had Encyclopedia Britannica, and I'm pretty sure my parents probably still have it sitting on a bookcase someplace. But I remember my favorite one, and I can't remember which volume it was, if it was biology or something like that. But it had the layers of a human that was on cellophane or whatever.
Oh,
yeah. Skin, then you could see open the muscles, and then see the organs, and then see the bones and all that, and then the nervous system. Yeah.
Right. So
remember, they do the commercials about them too, the infomercials to get the new set of Encyclopedia Britannicas, and they would talk about what was new in them, and you would send payments per month, and they would send you the sets and all that kind of stuff. I remember they do commercials for them too.
Well, they also you also had encyclopedia salespeople that went to doors. I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk that I know we're off topic, but at the same time we're on topic because that was the world of which this film was made in, and still trying to be prescient enough to understand where it was going to go. But that's what these people understood when this was made, was just that if you wanted information, you ain't got it. Funny thing is, I'm looking at all my movie books in a bookcase across from me. I don't even look. I love movies, obviously, and I don't even look at those books anymore. If I want to know what's within those books, I go to Google and search it.
Yeah.
Or I turn to my wealth of endless, stupid, useless information named Sean, who can tell me anything that I need to know. Here you go.
So I'll tell you why we can bring this back to be relevant. Let's first talk about the reveal here. The reveal here to the establishment or the management, Breck and the security forces, is that chimp was sold to Breck. Right. That's the reveal in this minute. So I'll bring it back to encyclopedias because clearly Breck is walking from his wall of encyclopedias behind him from nowhere towards the camera. You would applaud this shot. I'm like, where's he coming from? He's walking really fast from the other side of the room, and there's no door, there's no nothing. Like he took a shot of his whiskey and started walking towards the camera. You're happy with the shot, but I'm like, where's he coming from?
Well,
he's not coming from anywhere.
I'm thrilled with the shot because it's an amazing shot. It's the fact that he is flat center, the camera's moving with him. They've obviously used a wide angle lens because if you look at the lines behind it, they're distorting a little bit.
They are true. You're right. I didn't notice that. Yeah, the lines.
However, what that should have started with, it should not. with more thought, that starts with him slamming an encyclopedia into that wall. So it's more of like a smash cut.